Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome back to the Product-Led Festival. I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Deepak Paramanand, who is the AI product lead at Hitachi, and in his spare time also a stand-up comedian. So watch out for some product-related jokes throughout the session. Deepak is going to talk to us today about a view on augmentation, automation, AI, and hopefully put some minds at rest that you're not going to lose your job to AI, at least not yet. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Deepak to the virtual stage. Thanks for joining us.
Heather, thank you very much for having me here today. My second time in Product-Led Alliance. Always fun to talk to you, to meet the folks out there. Heather's kindly put in my LinkedIn. Please reach out to me if you have any questions afterwards. Let's crack on. Standard disclaimer before any movie is shown, just for you to get oriented. Here's a packed agenda today. We'll talk briefly about my background. I'll give you a formula to be future-proof. If the world comes to an end, if that's the only thing you see, it's totally fine. Best 3 minutes of your life. Then we'll break down the formula into the 3 parts of the formula: ambiguity, trends, passion. We'll walk you through a case study in working with ambiguity, how I've done it. I'll leave you with some final thoughts and then leave you with some resources to look at. So who am I? I'm a college graduate. In India, it just means I finished my bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's degree, which also means I'm not from a famous 3-letter university. If you know which college I graduated from, I'll just let that pause. I'm not a math wizard. I have, because of my work visa and travel around the world, I worked in 6 companies across 6 different domains. I worked in India, the USA, and now I'm working in the UK. I specialize in building AI products. And the other thing you should take away from this is that if I can do it, you can do it too. Here is a little bit of my experience, which I'll touch one of which I'll touch upon today. So as I said, I built 3 different kinds of products. The one is the one using classical machine learning, which was predicting a churn outcome for a telecom company. The next was using natural language processing. This involved content extraction, content classification. I also tried unsuccessfully to apply AI to stand-up comedy. The reason I'm still doing this talk is obviously because the stand-up comedy AI did not work out. Lastly, I did some work in computer vision. I shipped a AI-first product at Microsoft. And today, we'll be touching on the natural language processing aspect of my work and talking to you about automation and augmentation. This is a short video that I'm going to play for you. The link is already there in the presentation, which Heather will share with you afterwards. The audio is not playing, but enjoy the video until that time. So what you're seeing here is the Animoji competition which Apple built at Microsoft. What it basically does is transfers the expression of onto the animation itself fully. So imagine on a Teams call, you couldn't talk to each other, couldn't see each other. What if your puppets or your avatars talk to each other? That's the product I shipped at Microsoft. So what's the big reveal today? Here's my formula to be future-proof. This is what I am doing. This is what I will continue to do. And as I said, if you see nothing else, if you hear nothing else, this is the key idea I'm going to leave you with, is that the formula is to embrace ambiguity, to align with the trends of the future, and do it for free, also known as follow your passion, also anything that you do which gets you in the zone and helps you overcome the usual barriers and the stagnation of what you do day to day. So that's your formula, folks. Be ambiguous, embrace ambiguity, align with the trends, and do it for free. Now, why ambiguity? I'll let a very wise man tell you why. So he's Stephen Wolfram. This is a very famous quote he made at MIT. I'll let you, look at the screen for 10 seconds. The key question that Stephen asks is your job, is your task easily describable? And he says that because what will AI allow us to automate? We'll be able to automate everything that we can describe. The problem is it's not clear what we can describe. So let's reflect on your own job. Is your job easily describable? Can you think of other jobs that are easily describable? Are there portions of your job that are easily describable? If they are, they will be automated away. You don't need AI for automation. But the big deal about AI is whereas manufacturing and software automate the physical ability, AI automates the cognitive ability. So even if you're able to describe your job cognitively, you can automate that away using AI. Now let's take my own job. My own job as a product manager. What do I do? This is what I do. On the left is the customer who has needs, wants, and delights. On the right are the programmers who I deal with every day and the statisticians who make all the amazing AI come to light. So what are these different skills they have? The customers has needs and wants and delights, whereas programmers and statisticians and me have varying degrees of math, software, and human knowledge. And if you're thinking that the product manager is the man in the middle, that's absolutely right. That's who we are, middlemen. But then let's pause and ask ourselves, what is the universal opinion we have about middlemen? Why can't they be replaced? And I ask myself this question every day. But as you know, there is no standard definition of what a product manager does. If you've been listening to this talk, if you listen to so many other talks, there is no curriculum, there is not a course, there is not a set path a program product manager takes throughout their journey. In my own journey, of building three different AI products, even at Hitachi, 50 to 60% of my previous skills are reused, but I'm always learning and acquiring new skills and applying new ideas which I never knew before. So I feel my job is quite ambiguous. Now, Heather told you I'm a comedian. Let's see if you pick the humor in this one. So I asked 100 people, what do I do? The first one on the left, that's my wife. She says he talks a lot. The middle one is my kid. He says he laughs a lot. The person next to him is a developer. He negotiates a lot. And finally, the customers say he persuades a lot. Now, having heard all that, the last person there, that's my boss. What do you think? What do you think he says about what I do? He doesn't do a whole lot. Well, thankfully, my boss doesn't think that way, which is good news for me. But if your boss doesn't think you don't do a whole lot, well, those are some danger signs for you. But then that's the idea. Depending on who you ask, the stakeholders I manage, here you can see five stakeholders, they can always talk about how they view the product manager's job and how they view it and what they think I do. So now that we've looked at some ambiguity, let's look at some future trends. Here, according to me, are the few future trends that will shape the worlds to come: infrastructure, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and climate change. And you can align with them in three different ways. You can learn about it, you can work on it, you can invest in it. I myself have 70% of my current investment portfolio in blockchain, in cryptography. So I'm talking to you from having skin in the game. 20% of my pension pot is purely concentrated on climate change technology such as electrical vehicles, carbon footprint elimination, and sustainability. So I know the future that my kid will inherit will be full of blockchain, will be full of AI, and will be focused on the climate. I work on AI, so I don't have to invest it again and again. But then here are the four themes that will come and change the world to come, and this is what will this is what you will see is going to come out in the days to come. So let's look at infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure? Infrastructure to me means three things: what's happening in the sky, what's happening on the ground, and what's happening in your PC. For example, satellite broadband such as Starlink and others are going to come into fore. 5G and 6G are going to come on. With that, the question now becomes, are these enough to get humanity online? We all know not all humanity is online. Some are still unavailable to us. But then, how do we get them? Are these two the only ways? Let's say you get all of them online. How do we get humanity commuting? On the ground, we see smart roads, we see autonomous vehicles coming on. But the reason the row is blank there is because we don't know yet. We don't know what smart roads, smart cities, smart infrastructure, we don't know that yet. Look at computation. If you get humanity online, if you get them commuting, how do you get them computing? Your hard drives are getting cheaper, you're getting faster. Your CPUs, your GPUs, your IPUs, your TPUs, your AIPUs are all making computation really, really fast. Are they enough? We don't know. But here are the key questions the future asks ahead of us. Now let's look at AI. This is the field I'm working on, and here are the four key themes for me. Inclusiveness is a big deal now. Benevolence is very, very important because it's not enough to be diverse and inclusive. We must be able to prove that the AI is benevolent and it's used for the good purposes. Fairness is going to be a big game. I was lucky to work at Microsoft where I was able to ship a AI product that had to comply with Microsoft's AI policies. I don't see that for startups. I don't see other big enterprises following such codes and guidelines. Some corporations don't even have them. So how will they do it? They will be more inclusive. Algorithms are going to get better. You've seen GPT-3, that's just the scratching the surface. You're going to have trillion and hundreds of trillions of parameter AI. Self-supervised algorithms, when I was writing this presentation, I was writing that it may come up. Facebook released this a month ago. So it's already happening. I see huge leaps of technology and understanding that are going to happen. Adoption is going to increase. Enterprise AI, as I said, is going to get widespread. People are going to apply AI everywhere. Augmented humans are a real thing. I know you looked. I don't know if you guys know. Elon Musk is talking about Neuralink, a technology where he's able to implant chips inside the human brain to interpret neuron signals, predict the path of a neuron, and then alter it to the beneficiary of the human. If that's not augmented humans, I don't know what is. As you know now, with the coronavirus pandemic, we were able to get the vaccine out in under 15 months since development. Same time when it happened in Spanish flu, this took 4 times this much time. So imagine when AI and when it can be applied to health and agriculture, people will be healthier and they'll have more food to eat, and it'll turbocharge humanity like it's never been before. At the same time, there is a dark side. There is going to be malevolence. We've seen examples of hackers. You've seen weaponization coming to foray. So there are all these spectrum of AI that is going to happen. How can you align with it is a question you can ask yourself. Let's look at blockchain technology. Like I said, I've been investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum for about 5 to 6 years now, and I'm quite bullish about it. I'm not only talking about Bitcoin, but the whole decentralized finance structure and how does that look like? I'm sorry. So, what are the three key themes I look at? Follow the money. It's a very, very common theme to say, where are the venture capitalists investing their money? If wherever they're investing money, that's the theme of tomorrow. So, as you know now, there's a lot of investment going on in Bitcoin, in blockchain, in crypto. People are adopting crypto. People are buying goods using crypto. They're looking to get paid in crypto, and gold was considered to be the gold standard of value of store. Could Bitcoin be that? Could we now do away with paper printing money? Could we look at not going to banks for storing our money? Can we make it decentralized? But at the same time, could crypto be hacked? Could the whole financial structure change so drastically that will usurp all the social norms we've had before? That's one trend to look at. And then finally, climate technology, right? These are the three key areas I am looking at today for Hitachi. As you know, Hitachi has partnered with COP26 and wants to create a big foray in sustainable technologies. What does that look like? It looks at measuring the carbon footprint, reducing it, maybe even eliminating it. Then adopting green technology. Why only electrification? Why not nuclear? What can we do beyond cars? And sustainability. Before you eliminate completely, how can you coexist? How can you overcome water poverty? And what about food shortage? All of these big key questions are the future of tomorrow, are what the world is going to grapple with. So if you look at it, maybe it makes sense for you to align with them in these areas. So now that I've given you a rapid fire idea of the trends of tomorrow, let's delve into why I am talking about ambiguity. I'm going to show you a case study now about how I dealt with it and how I overcame that and what you can learn from it. So this was the problem that I was looking at. I was looking at solving the problem for M&A deals for attorneys who read hundreds of thousands of documents and arrived at a yes or no or maybe for a due diligence solution. For example, if you're looking to buy a company, you look at all the documents about the company, you analyze, you synthesize, and say, yes, the company is worth buying, no, the company is not worth buying, or maybe I don't have enough information to get there. So now the question becomes, how do they do it? How do they do the manual due diligence process? What kind of augmentation can AI apply to them? What kind of automation I can bring in? And then key theme for me was, yes, physical ability we can replace, but what about cognitive ability? Could AI replace that? Could AI augment that? And at the same time, help these folks along in their way. So as you will see next, I've had some success with it, and I hope that you see the bigger picture and you take that away from this presentation. And the success to me was measured in two steps. I reduced the physical work, the pure physical ability that is required, but I also reduced the cognitive overload that these folks had to get through. Now, how does that look like? So lots of colors here. The one on top is the orange boxes. This is all the physical ability, the physical tasks the attorneys do. The green, the one in the green are the cognitive ability. These are the questions, these are the information that they are asking for when they open up these documents. And the one in orange are the gray areas where, yes, it's cognitive ability, but it is so much mired and tied into their knowledge and understanding. This I felt was very, very hard for AI to look at and change out. And at the last, in the blue boxes, you see the amount of information they processed and synthesized all along the way. So what you see here is when they look at 10,000 documents, the physical action they take is they open every document. The question they ask is, what kind of documents? What kind of document is this? What are the key phrases within the document? What are the key phrases across the document? And once they've done that, they look at the 10,000 documents. They copy paste the information into 5,000 documents, and then they're asking questions about who are the key customers, who are the key vendors, what are the key numbers, what are the key dates, what are the key organizations that they look at. They keep doing this again and again. It's a rinse and repeat operation. And while doing that, they start asking these advanced questions such as, what are the key risks? How good is the team? How good is the technology? What is the financial run rate? And then as you come to the very end of the deal making process, you're asking very, very deep technical knowledge questions such as, what does the future look like? Who's the competition? Where else to invest? Have I missed any risks? What have I learned from previous M&As? So as you see now, the more physical ability, the less cognitive load the attorneys had to go through. But towards the end of the deal, the physical ability reduced, but the cognitive ability kicked in. So my job was to say, can I even put this on a map? Can I describe this problem in any way possible and go back to the drawing board, ask them if what I'm describing even makes sense? So this is what I did. I looked at how they operated M&A deals. I mapped those into physical and cognitive ability tasks and asked them a question, does this make sense? It did make sense. They did give me good feedback that yes, the one in green are the kind of questions we ask ourselves every day. And maybe if you can show us a foolproof way to augment this using AI or NLP, that would be very, very beneficial to us. So what did I do? I did this. Of all the things that I looked at, I believed I could replace the physical task of opening every document and answer the key question, what kind of document is this? And I could answer that question because I'm able to do all the things that are there in the green boxes. Now let's see, what does that look like? This is what it looks like. So for example, you have 20 documents on the left, and they could be of any kind. They could be a lease document, a legal document, an antitrust, environmental, regulatory, litigation, so on and so forth. Previously, they had to open every single document based on the content of the document, they'd have to flag it to be regulatory, they have to be flag it to be legal or incorporation or antitrust or environmental each time. There was no learning involved. But with NLP, I was able to classify documents based on vocabulary. I extracted key phrases from documents and then automatically use that information to map what kind of document it is. So now, not only am I saying document A1 is regulatory, but I'm giving a percentage to say, I think it's 30%, we are 30% confident that it's regulatory because the information that's there could also be environmental, could also be legal, could also be lease. Now, with this new information, the attorneys are far more equipped because when you start off the process, you can see within the document, but you don't have the across document view, which only NLP and something such a huge scale can provide. So, what did this do for them? It reduced their due diligence time, it reduced their manual due diligence, it augmented their ability, it increased their capacity, and it made them very, very effective because we saved them the drudge work and the grunt work that you went on. So, when I did that, how did I embrace ambiguity? How did I put my passion and how did I do it for free? When I did this, I basically played four different roles. I played the role of a UX researcher. I understood their pains. I charted out the day to day tasks and researched what and how could be done to augment them. I played the role of a developer. I even wrote a piece of code that demonstrated the ability to augment the physical tasks away and show them what AI can do. I built up a business case. I played a financial role. I said, well, if this is what I do for you, how much time and money can I save for the attorney? But how much revenue growth can I accomplish for my company? And then finally, I persuaded. So I understood, I developed, I analyzed, and I persuaded. I persuaded my boss, who may be even here on this call today, to take this idea forward and execute it. So in my own life, I've embraced ambiguity. A product manager's job is very, very ambiguous. I believe that the product manager's job, because it's so ambiguous, because there's no definition, I believe it's not going to go away anytime soon. But there are a lot of things that are being automated. For example, 7, 8 years ago, I could not have a good way of showing what my roadmap looks like. With tools like AHA, with tools like Jira, with tools like Atlassian and Confluence, I can tell a very, very cognitive story to everybody. That automated my life immensely. Previously, it was spreadsheets in Word documents and PowerPoints. Now it's one single place. So there is definitely augmentation, there's definitely automation, but there is no replacement yet. But the more and more the product manager's job becomes describable, I do see even that job being automated away. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Before I leave you, here is how I looked at what are the jobs that exist in the world today. And if I plotted them on a graph of ease of human replaceability and human interaction, what do I see are the jobs that can be easily automated, easily replaced, easily described. To me, accounting and manufacturing have the least human interaction and therefore are the easiest to describe. I may be oversimplifying here, but 2 plus 2 is 4. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what language you speak, no matter what time it is, it's exactly the same. Unless you're dealing with intra company, intra continent, intra country accounting, cross departmental accounting and manufacturing jobs are going to be easily replaced in the days to come. What about radiology? The tasks where doctors look at MRI scans and X-ray scans and make a hypothesis and give a judgment of what's happening to the person. I believe with enough data, with enough training, that could also be easily replaced. Same with driving. Until we looked at driving as a creative problem, we thought we could not replace driving. But now, driving to me is a two-step problem. At the end, you only do two things: you stop or you move. So if your outcomes are only stop or move, all the data that goes behind those two final outcomes could easily be described and be replicated with AI. That's why you see Tesla and other companies making such huge advances in level 5 automation. I do see that those jobs are going to be taken away. But there is hope. The job of the teacher, the job of lawyers, the job of mothers, that's not going to be replaced because those jobs are very, very ambiguous. Very ambiguous. How can you care for a child in exactly the same way if there are 30 of them in the class? You can't, because those are very, very difficult to look at, and you can't even have a map for dealing with one child the same way you can deal with others. How about teaching? Some children are very auditory, some are very physical, some are very creative, some are very artistic. How can you teach them in exactly the same way? So I say those jobs which are far higher on the human interaction scale are the hardest to replace because those jobs are ambiguous. Those jobs are not easily describable because when you look at 30 children in the classroom, you can't decide how to deal with them ahead of time. There is no formula for that. Those are much, much harder. So hopefully now I've given you a good sense of the formula. Be ambiguous, align with the trends, four trends: climate change, artificial intelligence, infrastructure, blockchain technology, and then follow your passion. Do it for free. And then you can do it for free in three ways. You can learn about it, you can work in it, or invest in it. All three ways are possible for you to make sure your jobs are not describable and they're not augmented or taken away from you. So, what's this last slide I deal with? This is the one question I'll leave you with. If you want to be future proof, be comfortable with ambiguity. If your job doesn't involve that today, go embrace that. Start taking baby steps, but get there. Look at those hard questions that you thought could not be solved. Describe the question. Forget the solution. Describe the question well enough. Break it down into smaller chunks. That will help you build a good intuition about solving the problem. When on my journey of AI, here are a couple of things that helped me immensely. Two books of two different authors: Yuval Noah Harari, 21 Lessons for 21st Century, and Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark are similar works, according to me, that give you a very good intuition about AI. And I've taken two courses, one by Andrew Ng, Machine Learning on Coursera, helped me immensely. And though I didn't complete the data science course by John Hopkins on Coursera, it gave me a very, very good intuition of what this world will look like in the days to come. Right. So with that rapid fire presentation, that is the end of the presentation from me. I know I give the stage back to Heather. If you have any questions from me, please let me know. I'll stop presenting now.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Great presentation. And thank you everyone for joining. We've got a few minutes now to take questions. Before we quickly go into those, please do connect with Deepak with his LinkedIn at the top, and the slides are available as a handout in the handouts tab. So please do grab them from there if you'd like them. I've got a question here from Enrique. There are some awesome use cases for AI in product, but some senior stakeholders in my company don't understand when, where it should be used. How can I convince them AI for AI's sake is no good?
Very good question. That's the same thing I dealt with. Look at those use cases that will help eliminate drudgery, will help eliminate the same old every day, and could shine a light them on to say, like the same case with the M&A attorneys, why would you want to double click and open a document every day for the exact same reason? What is the learning for you there? Why do you want to know what are the key phrases within the document and across documents? What if I gave you that ahead of time? Why not spend those 50 hours extra somewhere else rather than on this, because this is no use to you. So my pitch to you is, look at the problem, look at describing the problem, and look at areas where there is no cognitive ability or there is no cognitive gain that can be achieved from that. Look at applying AI there, synthesize with them and talk to them and say, if I save you time and money and energy there, what more can you do with that extra time and money? How can you save time and money? How can we make more money from it? So I say, save the drudgery, augment humans to be more intelligent and use their cognitive abilities for a better reason.
Awesome. Thanks, Deepak. Go ahead for Catherine, but I think that might be in response to Enrique. What is one place where you see AI being used that you don't think it is benefiting that product or service?
Yeah, I mean, people keep saying, let's build a robot, let's, replace a teacher. There was an experiment made in India where they replaced a teacher with a robot. They misunderstood the teacher being a Google search engine, right? You ask the robot a question, the robot answered the question. Well, Google search could do that. Alexa could do that. Can you imagine Alexa being your teacher? You can ask Alexa a question. The Alexa or the robot answers the question. But is that what is teaching? Teaching, according to me, is giving you enough information, giving you hard problem, and then helping you along the way to break down the problem and say, "Oh, teacher, this is so hard. I can't break it. I can't solve it. Go on, my child. Describe it a little better. Go keep at it. Keep pushing. Keep pushing." And when you reach the aha moment, teacher will not only say, "See, I told you it's easy," but most importantly, a good teacher will say, "Now that you've learned it, keep applying the same framework to newer problems you'll see tomorrow," because the teacher facilitates a problem, breaking down idea, breaking it down into smaller chunks, facilitating the thinking so that it's repeatable and scalable afterwards. So anybody who has ideas for replacing teachers with AI robots or whatnot, those are nothing but Alexa's turbocharged with Google. That's not a great idea. I don't think we have thought about teaching in the right way there.
Thanks, Deepak. Are there any more questions from anybody? We've got kind of 1 or 2 more minutes. If not, like I said, please do download the slides from the handouts tab and reach out to Deepak if you have questions about product management, AI product management, or stand-up comedy. Getting kind of a lot of love and thanks in the chat, Deepak. So thank you. Oh, another question here, Gahendra. AI still needs to elaborate more to reach its accurate purpose. What is the percentage currently being achieved?
Fantastic question. I could give you an answer, but it'd be totally wrong. Let me give you the wrong answer, 80%. I tell you why it's wrong. We don't even know what is human cognitive ability. We have not described that problem well enough. We can't say human cognitive ability is these 20,000 things. We have not been able to describe that. Since we've not been able to describe that, how can you replicate that or replace that with AI? So if that is the question you're asking me, that's a fantastic question. If you're able to answer that, the amount of money you'll make, my friend, will not fit into any bank anywhere in the world. So there you go. You have a, how do I put this, a quadrillion, billion, trillion dollar problem to understand what is human cognitive ability, map it out, describe it out, and then look at ways to replace that with AI. There you go, Heather. Everybody's richer and happier now.
That is an absolutely fantastic answer. Thank you, Deepak. And I think that is a great note to finish on. How can we quantify human intelligence? Who knows? But thank you so much for joining us, Deepak. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for great questions and engagement. Like I said, reach out to Deepak on his LinkedIn, download the slides. And thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking the stage, Deepak. It's been great to have you here again.
Well, you promised me in person, so I'm waiting for it. I've given
in
two
person.
remote in person as soon as possible.
I look forward to shaking your hand in November, Deepak.
Here you go. Here you go. Yeah. See you, Heather. See you, everyone. Thanks for having me on today. It was really enjoyable. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.